He says he isn't a millionaire. I don't believe him for a second. He has his invention with him. Tom Maxwell, good morning. How are you today?
Hello, good morning, Tom.
We were going somewhere else there. My apologies.
No worries.
Now, just bring your mind back. Do you remember, as a child, okay, you would have stuck often a lollipop or something into the back of your bike to try and make it make noise, okay? Well, Tom and his brother have decided to take that and turn it into a business idea, which could make them lots of money, isn't it?
That's the idea, yeah.
There now. Am I over exaggerating the money aspect of it?
Well, slightly, I think, yeah. It's, I mean, we do, it's, we're running a successful business, but, and we, we sell large quantities in the USA and Canada. It's our biggest market, but, it's one of those sort of ones where, we're a young business. We have to invest a lot of money back into the business to grow it.
Right.
And, certainly, I suppose this idea of, the old Santa Claus, the movie, the 1980s movie where John Lithgow sits back in his chair smoking the cigar and Dudley Moore's making the toys and the money rolls in. I wish it was like that. It's slightly more low key than that.
It's a very good start, though, isn't it? But listen, take me back to the beginning. When you were a child, your dad used to do something, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was always car mad. Like from the age 0, I would run around the house making car noises with my mouth, and I think my parents thought I was slightly bizarre. And I'd be out on my bike cycling around making motorcycle noises and stuff. And one day my dad stopped me and he put a playing card into the back wheel of my bike with a clothespin, and so the card would go into the spokes, so when I'd cycle it would make the noise. And I thought this was the slickest thing. I just thought it was great fun, and it would only last for a few minutes or so.
The card would be reduced to
it would get wet and it would turn into pulp. So I thought there must be a way that I can buy one of these in a shop. And I looked around for one and I couldn't find anything at all, and I thought that seems crazy. Yeah. And so I just wanted...
It was. I have to say, that's a memory that will strike a chord with many people. There's several things there. There's your dad as the great inventor, producing this car that transforms your bike into a motorbike or a car. Sensational.
Exactly.
But your dad had a pedestal for that, but then, it does fall apart, and that's the end of it.
Well, that's it. And I just wanted it for myself. So I made up a little sort of like a wooden clamp that would hold a card more securely in there, and kind of left the idea at that. Really didn't really think much more of it. Until I was going to NCAD to do my degree for industrial design.
Just as a matter of interest, why did you choose industrial design? Why did that...
It's quite funny, actually. Much to the dismay of my careers guidance teacher, it was actually the only thing I put down on my CAO form. It was the only thing that caught my eye that I wanted to do. I always was sort of mechanically minded with, working with cars and stuff like that. But I didn't really regard myself as an engineer. So I wanted to do something which was kind of more... I always would look at products and see about how to improve them, and it just seemed like it was a perfect fit.
As a child, that was going through your mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was slightly unusual, but
it must be great to know what you want to do. An awful lot of people that go through life never find out what they want to do.
Yeah, I think it was a sort of all your eggs in one basket as well, in a way.
You have clarity of vision and stuff.
But I have to say, it was great. I loved the course. It was fantastic to do. It was right up my street, and but I developed the product from putting my portfolio together for the course.
And was it still on your mind all these years later what your dad had done with the the card?
It was because I think I'd always sort of like, I looked around and I'd search online and stuff and see if there was still one that you could buy, and I never came across anything like it at all. And so I thought, there's got to be there's got to be merit here in producing this, and it turns out there is.
Right. So describe what it is you developed.
So it's quite simple. It's basically, it takes the old playing card and the spokes idea. There were a few fundamentals that had to be improved. One was that the cards had to be made more durable, so they're now made of a special plastic material.
Okay.
And it comes with 3 cards, and each card is actually a different shape. So they make different sounds when they go into the spokes. So that's the first cool thing.
Okay, good.
The second part is the clamp, which fits onto the bike, and that's what holds the card in the spokes and means that it stays there permanently. And the third part is probably the most awesome part of it, which is the exhaust pipe, which looks like a real exhaust pipe from a motorbike, but it actually works like a megaphone to amplify the sound.
Just by the way, that's the 2 visual things we have for you today, the book and now this. So if you go to newstalk.ie, you'll be able to see that we have it set up to a bike in the studio at the moment, which you'll be able to hear as well by the gift of radio in a second or two. But it looks great. I have it in my hand here as well. It's great. No, I have to say that the exhaust bit of it, not unlike a fairy liquid box which you cut off the ends, somehow get sand inside to make rigid and then paint silver. It does have a bit of a blue Peter, and here's one we made earlier.
Right, well,
but not say that it's not great. Because it does look exactly like an exhaust pipe.
I think the thing with it is, it has to be kid friendly. So it's because people look at it and they think it's actually made of metal, and they squeeze it and they realise it's actually made of plastic.
Plastic.
It'd take a good few bumps and
I'd say there'll be a few boy racers sellotaping these underneath their souped up cars to give them the 2 exhausts on each side thing.
Exactly, yeah.
And I wouldn't rule it out.
It looks better than most of those exhaust pipes you see on boy racers machines.
Yes, they're 1.3 litre engine, 9 horsepower. Right, so that's it. It looks very simple. There's the card now, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating. So you're going to stand up now.
I will.
And we're going to give you a demonstration of what this sounds like. Should you have children that you're going to get a bike for Christmas, this is what they can transform their bike into.
You can also watch the videos on turbospoke.com of all of the different of it in action.
Great stuff.
Here we go.
Here we go. That is sensational. If only we'd thought about doing a test where we just played that to people and said motorbike or bike. I'm sure they all would have said motorbike. Even through the window now they're all saying surely that was a motorbike we heard there.
Well, there we go.
That is pure class. Add that to a child's bike at Christmas and unlock that world of imagination, and they will just be in a parallel universe.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's why, parents and grandparents, they've all done this with an old playing card idea. Like in America, the big thing we get is people giving off, they burned up all their old baseball cards doing it, because baseball cards are now worth an absolute fortune.
Right.
And so they look at it and they go, oh my God, and they really want to give it to their, and they know how much fun it was.
Yeah.
And they put it on their kids' bikes, and the kids just go crazy for it. We get these like fan mail letters from people, because it's only like $20 or whatever, €20, and people go crazy for it.
How quickly did it start to get a good reaction?
Well, we set up the business in 2009, and really the sort of the tipping point for it was when we appointed our US distributor, because they saw it and just loved it, and and because of their enthusiasm, they got it out into like all of their stores. So we're now in like 900 stores across America and Canada, and it's on like Amazon.com in America and Walmart.com.
Country of 300 million.
Yeah.
I don't know what the statistics are like over there, but if over here, what is it, half the population's under 25, what would you say, 10% of them under 15 or under 10? That's 30 million kids.
I have the stats, I can't quite remember them.
Seems quite, bikes, but for a million of them to buy them doesn't sound outrageous, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, but it's certainly it's something that I think kids just get into, as you say, the imagination of it. They put it on their bike, and it's just like boom, your bike is instantly transformed.
I can't imagine any boy who wouldn't want it. It's as simple as that.
Parents obviously say the neighbours are going to go mental with this and whatever, but again, you have some parents who say, well, it's great, I know exactly where my kids are cycling, I know where they are.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Pedestrians get out of their way.
You could add them onto electric cars, make them less dangerous.
Well, that's it, exactly.
You hear them coming before they knock you down. There really is a great the beauty of it is the simplicity of it.
Well, that's it, yeah. I mean,
dare I ask you how much it's costing to make? Unit cost? Will you?
I
would have thought a man like you would have a unit cost in his head. You do have a unit cost in your head. You have conveniently forgotten, haven't you? Yes. But how can this not be making you a multi-millionaire?
It's, it's just the fact that, it does take, what you don't see is all the stuff that goes on in the background. Myself and my brother, we run the business. He is a graduate of Trinity College, Andrew's his name, and he does all of our, he's like our director of operations, so he does all the manufacturing, he does all of our website stuff. He's also a good man with the purse strings, so he does all of the financials as well.
Says. Where is he at the moment? Barbados?
Cold Waterford, I believe.
Well, he tells you that, I'd say. So if it's going to be a business, how are you going to make sure that it's not just a single product kind of business? Yeah, well, that's
we put a lot of development into or a lot of our funds back into the sort of the new product development, and we're also we want it to be a very sustainable business. That's why in America we're going through what they call mom and pop type stores, so it's not going into the huge mass retailers with a load of marketing behind it, so it sort of lasts for as long as a season, and then it dies off. I think the fact that it's what we call an evergreen product, where parents know what the product is, grandparents identify with how much fun it was, and they want to present it to their own kids as well. Again, it doesn't use any batteries or electronics, so it's kind of like it keeps going for as long as your imagination will go for. So from that point of view, we see it as being a very long-term product. In terms of the business, we see the children's bicycles as being an ultimate platform for accessorization.
Would you be in a situation where you, at this stage, because you've developed it, you know how to market it, if people have simple ideas, maybe they could come to you and pitch them to you?
They certainly could, yeah. I mean, it's the sort of, the thing is, you got to think about, put yourself in the mindset of a kid when you're 8 years old.
Yeah.
You get your bike, it's your freedom, it's your independence, anything you can do to make it slicker and more awesome.
Yeah.
It has got to be a winner,
So the website is turbospoke.com. .com, and that's turbospoke.com. You can order it there, and it's in shops in Ireland as well?
Yeah, we're in limited number of stores in Ireland. It's in the Gadget store, Be Cool, the Gadget store in Dundrum, and you can get it from our website, turbospoke.com as well, and we ship all over Ireland.
It really is great, Tom. Congratulations.
That's great, yeah.
It really is very impressive. It's lovely when a simple idea like that comes along, and it's great that it's an Irish one as well. One of our listeners says, I race downhill mountain bikes. How freaked out would my competitors be? A bit, I think, is the answer there.
We actually sponsored a downhill team in Europe who were racing in this year's downhill championships. They weren't allowed to use them in the actual races, though, because I think they were putting people off, but they used them in the practice sessions. So get in touch, we'll get one out to that guy.
All right, you're very good. Tom, thanks very much. Turbospoke.com is the website address.